Hey guys, welcome to another Mouse Trooper Media video, which I'm going to start calling MTM because it's a lot shorter and I like it better. Today I'm going to be talking about the Kane County Toy Show and some of the things I picked up. So stick around and see what I got. Let's talk about the Emperor's Shadow Guard. These came out in the Force Unleashed video game, and my wife actually has this costume in the 501st Legion. I have really been looking for an action figure for her for quite a while now. So I walk into the first trade building, turn the corner, and there sitting on the counter, you guessed it, a 6-inch Black Series Emperor's Shadow Guard. Now normally you wouldn't think this would be a big deal, but this is actually only available in a 4-pack. It had the Senate Guard, which was the blue guard, the Imperial Royal Guard, which was the red guard, the Emperor Shadow Guard, which is this one, and then the Elite Praetorian Guard with the double blade. So you had to buy the 4-pack if you wanted these, and the 4-pack was $70. And I didn't want to pay $70 for these, so I was really happy to pick this up loose. I think the guy wanted $15 for it, so instead of paying the $70, I was able to get one for $15, so I was pretty happy. After I picked up this Shadow Guard, I was walking around, looked down the aisle, and at the booth at the end of this aisle, I saw a stack of records. Now, you wouldn't normally think to see records in a toy store, toy show, but there they were. So I went over there, and right on top was the Disco Star Wars record. I don't know if you remember this from 1977, but it actually hit #1 on the charts in October of 1977. It was basically a mix of all the Star Wars themes set to disco music. In fact, side A had like a 15-minute mix of all the Star Wars themes. And so I remember this from when I was a kid, and when I saw it, I couldn't believe it was still there. I hadn't seen this thing in years, so it was really cool. The guy only wanted $5, so he ended up giving it to me for $2 because it had a little scratch in it, but that didn't really matter to me. I liked the cover and the case, and I just wanted to have it for the collection, so I was pretty happy with it. Now, patch collecting in the 501st Legion is a pretty big deal, and I didn't really get it when I first started. A lot of people were collecting patches, and I didn't really see the appeal in it. But then I got one, and then I got another one, and then I got another one, and now I have a ton of them. And so while I was at the show, I turned the corner, and sitting on the table were a bunch of patches. Now, there are some honorary members of the 501st Legion, some people that were in Star Wars and other Star Wars celebrities. They make them honorary members. And what happens is a lot of times they meet us and they see that we all like patches and we all trade patches and we give them some of ours. Well, they want to give us something back. So they make their own patches. Well, there just happened to be 3 of these patches on this table. There was one from David Prowse, who was Darth Vader. There was one from Jeremy Bulloch, who played Boba Fett, and then there was another one from Stephen Stanton, who was Grand Moff Tarkin in Rebels and Clone Wars. So I had to grab those 3 because I had to add them to the collection. For about 2.5 years now, I've been trying to collect all of the original action figures from the Star Wars Kenner line. I was missing 7 action figures from the original 79. I haven't decided if I'm going to go for the rest of them, but the original 79, I was only missing 7 action figures. So whenever I go to these toy shows, I'm always trying to get action figures from the original Kenner line that are in really good shape. Right after I found the patches, I was able to find a Bespin Han. This guy, for some reason, been eluding me. He's not that difficult to get, but for some reason I couldn't find one in decent shape that still had the weapon. But this guy had one, so I went and grabbed it. I can't remember what I paid, but it wasn't more than $15, I think. So he was pretty good. This is the Bespin Han. He was produced in 10 different card backs, so there was a lot of them out there. He was on like the 41A in Empire Strikes Back, and then he was all the way through Return of the Jedi in the last 79 card back. After I picked up the Bespin Han, I went into the Prairie building and looked around there for a little bit, and lo and behold, one of the guys had Bib Fortuna. He was another one of the guys that I was missing, one of the other figures I was missing. This one was released in 1983, and it was on the Return of the Jedi 65 back. And then it was also on some of the Tri-Logo cards, which were some of the international cards. He comes with the battle staff, the cloak, and the belt. This version I picked up is in pretty good shape. Cloak is really nice. The battle staff is really great. Got a little bit of flashing on it, but not too bad. The same guy that sold me the Bib Fortuna also sold me this Nikto. Nikto was originally available in 1983. He was in the Jabba the Hutt Dungeon playset, and he first appeared carded in the Return of the Jedi 77 back card in the US. He was also on the Emperor Offer, the Canadian Return of the Jedi 65 back card. He comes with the Skiff Guard battle staff, and he's actually a very good representation of the actual character in the movie. So I like this figure a lot, and I was happy to get him. The last four characters I needed, I actually found from the same dealer over in the Prairie building. I went over to him and told him I only needed 4 figures left, and he just happened to have all 4 figures. So when he found out that was all I needed to complete my collection, he went ahead and gave me a good deal, because I was going to be buying all 4 figures, plus, it was my last set that I needed. So he was happy to help me out, which was really cool. The first one you can see here, this is Paplu. He was carded on Return of the Jedi cards, Power of the Force, and then Tri-Logo cards. He was in the 79 back in the US, but 77 back in Canada. He comes with the Ewok battle staff and his Paplu hood. For some reason I could find him, but I was having trouble finding him with the staff. I don't know if the staff was just difficult, but every time I would see him, he didn't have the staff or he was beat up. The next one here is Lumat. He's also carded on Return of the Jedi, Power of the Force, and Tri-Logo. He's a 79 back in the US and a 77 back in Canada. He comes with the Ewok bow, the Ewok quiver, and his little hood. And technically, I think he was the last figure released as a Return of the Jedi figure in North America. He and Paplu were both made up the 79 back, so they were the last 2 figures released. But since he is second, I think that he's the last figure that was actually released. Up next here we have Pruneface. He was released in 1984. He was on Return of the Jedi and the Tri-Logo cards. Funnily enough, in the EU, they renamed him. They named him Orimako. So if you believe the EU, or if you like the EU, he's named Orimako, but most of us still call him Pruneface. He got just a little bit of time in Return of the Jedi. Everybody thought he was a bad guy, but in actuality, I guess, you can see him in one of the second scenes in Return of the Jedi. He was a rebel guy from the second act, I guess, so you can see him really quick. And last but not least, we have Klaatu. Klaatu was released in 1983. He was available on Return of the Jedi and Tri-Logo cards, and he first appeared on the Return of the Jedi 65 back card. This guy here is in great condition. I am so happy with this one. He actually still has the protector around the skirt. You could see in the carded figures, there's like a little plastic protector that goes around the bottom of his skirt there. This guy still has a protector on, and I can't believe it's still there after all these years, but he's in great shape. For a loose figure, I was really happy to pick this one up. Well, as you can imagine, I dropped quite a bit of money trying to get those last 7 action figures, so by the time I got to building A, I didn't have a whole lot left in the budget and hadn't really planned on getting anything until I walked over to a table and I saw these 2 videos sitting here. I don't even have a working VCR anymore, so I can't really play them, but I still thought they'd be cool as a display piece. Maybe set up some of my old action figures around it. So they were only 50 cents each, so I went ahead and grabbed them. Well, that's it. That's all I've got for you. Had a great show, got a lot of the things I wanted, and I am so happy that I was actually able to finish my 79 back collection. So I've got everything. I haven't decided if I'm going to go for the last 15 or 17 if you include Poplu and Lumats, since I already have those, but haven't decided if I want to invest that kind of money because some of those figures are upwards of $400 by themselves. But that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, click like, and subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.